In 1967, there was a famous rock band called the Zombies. Just like most other music groups at the time, the Zombies were starting to enter the experimental phase of their music. They had already released quite a few hits, but the times, they were a-changin', so they needed to really take things to the next level. That's when they began working on their new album, their most ambitious one yet. This wouldn't be like what they did before. This would be their magnum opus. The boys got straight to work at London's Abbey Road Studios, and several months of recording and crafting later, the album Odyssey in Oracle was born. Although initially a commercial flop, the album slowly started picking up before growing immense popularity in 1969. I mean, it was so psychedelic, so nuanced, groovy. Music critics then did what they do best. They started deeply analyzing every lyric, every note, every aspect of this album. And that's when they noticed something a bit off about the album cover. The word Odyssey was spelled wrong, and people didn't know why. When they asked about it, the band stated that the misspelling was intentional. It was up to the listeners to decide what they think it means. And naturally, people were coming up with all kinds of theories trying to figure out what this small detail meant. Several decades later, the topic was revisited in an interview, and the true reason was finally revealed. Oh, we didn't know how to spell, and we were too embarrassed to say anything, so we just rolled with it. Sorry. Odyssey in Oracle has since been widely considered by critics to be one of the greatest albums of all time. Now, why am I telling you this story? Well, during Christmas of 2021, I released a video titled How One Typo Destroyed Thousands of Computers, which talked about the story of Goggle.com, a website that infected its victims with all kinds of malware and viruses had they accidentally visited the site by misspelling the word Google. About 6.5 minutes into the video, a huge glitch showed up, becoming the #1 search engine on the web. This was a very, and only got even further. Google was on its way to becoming the #1 officially gone public. And then, just complete silence for a solid minute. After that, the video just moves on, like nothing ever happened. Viewers were left clueless. They began flooding the comment section asking for some kind of explanation, wondering what on earth just happened. And I was frantic. I didn't know what was going on. I had to do something about this. And then my group of friends put their foot down. Do not touch it. Do not touch it. Play along with it. That's what she said. No time, but she did no time. Don't do anything. And so I waited, and I waited. And then something happened that subverted everyone's expectations. The video started blowing up at astronomical levels, like nothing I have ever seen before. There was a point where I was getting 10,000 views an hour. I had never witnessed anything like it. Comments were mixed, some despising the glitch, others praising it for its ingenious use of artistic license. Users started coming up with their own theories on what they think it means, and my head is spinning. Was this some kind of brilliant marketing tactic to get viewers to flock over to this channel? Or was it just some big oversight that only the dumbest person could miss? Or even worse, was this some cheap shot at exploiting the YouTube algorithm? Well, the video has recently experienced a bit of a renaissance. And with it now being one of the most successful videos I have ever put on my channel, I think now's the time to tell the full story. This is the story of the unexpected return of Goggle.com, and how the unexpected return. Uh-oh, has this ever happened to you? Are you the type of person to burn cereal, spend $60 to deliver a French fry? Well, thankfully, today's sponsor, Factor 75, is here to help deliver cheap and delicious, readily cooked meals right to your door. If you're like me and eat takeout a lot because you often don't have time or are just too lazy to cook, Factor 75 makes it so you can just quickly throw something together that is both nutritious and helps you save money. Just take the meal of your choice, plop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and presto. Or should I say, pesto. What's really great about Factor meals is that they are never frozen. They are completely fresh and they arrive pre-prepared. Quite literally. Just heat, eat, and enjoy. I know a lot of my viewers like to sit and eat their potato chips with a little bit of fat and salt, and that's okay, I do too. But you gotta eat your greens and your veggies as well, and that's where Factor's got you covered. They are also great for meal prepping, offering a large variety of options for different tastes and different diets. They even have vegetarian and vegan meals. I am not just saying this, the food was so good. I kind of want Factor to sponsor me again just so I can eat more of it. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that though. Anyway, if you guys try it, you'll see what I mean. And you can try your first set of meals at a discount. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code NationSquid50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. So now, it's been over a year, and whenever people have asked me, hey, what happened in the middle of your goggle video, my response has been, oh, I meant to do that. But it's not really, I meant to do that. It's more like,
I meant to do that.
But if that is the case, then what exactly happened to my video? How did such an obvious oversight occur? Well, the answer is quite embarrassing. I just didn't check. Now, let me explain. So I had been working on that goggle video for quite some time, around a couple of weeks or so. Now, the moment I think of an idea for a video, I already have a general outline in my head for how the video is going to start and end. I have a general idea for the specific words I'm going to say, the kind of visuals I'm going to show, and what the overall message of the video is going to be. You know, what the viewers are supposed to take from it. But of course, there have been those instances of writer's block, or more what I like to call creator's block, where, as I'm making the video, I realize that a specific idea is way too ambitious to actually create in a realistic amount of time. So, I either scrap that idea entirely, or I sit staring at my computer screen trying to figure out a way to create it in a fast amount of time. And that's exactly what happened as I was putting together the goggle video. The deadline for the video is slowly approaching as I am editing everything together, and the demonstration part at the very end of the video just isn't looking right for some reason. It's just not coming out the way I envisioned it. So I start debating if I should even keep that part of the video in. I mean, people won't notice if it's gone, right? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I start messaging my friends saying, hey, does this look good? Should I take this part of the video out? And they all tell me, yeah, dude, it looks fine. Just go ahead and upload it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Great, I thought. You know what? They're right. I'm just overthinking it. I'll go ahead and get it uploaded. Now my video is exporting in my video editor. It takes about maybe 45 minutes or so to finish, and then I proofwatch it. Whenever I upload a video, I always make sure to proofwatch it first, you know, for quality assurance. And as I'm proofwatching it, I notice a very big editing error in my video. So I go back in, I fix it, and I export it again. And then I proofwatch it again. And then I notice another error. So then I fix it, and I export it again. And then another error. I do this like 3-4 more times. And you're probably asking yourself, hey dude, why didn't you just watch the whole thing in the video editor timeline first before exporting it? It would have saved you so much more time. Well, you know what? This is my channel. Stop ganging up on me. Anyway, at this point, I'm like confident that I caught everything. And I do one last export. And then it hits 100%. And it just stays there for like 25 minutes. I notice that the exported file is showing up on my desktop, even though the export technically hasn't ended yet, despite it saying 100%. So I take a calculated risk and decide to just click cancel. I start debating if I should proofwatch it just one last time. And ultimately I'm just like, oh, it's fine. I've already watched it like 6-7 times at this point. What could possibly be different about it? Just upload it. You're gonna be fine. Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Like your friends have told you, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's now 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been listening to James Blunt for like 4.5 hours. Why? Why? I've had a cold for like a year. I haven't slept in 30 hours. I'm starting to hear colors. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. I just really need to get some sleep. Self-care. So I upload the video, I schedule it for release, and then I go to bed. And when I woke up, it wasn't, rise and shine and give God the glory. It was noon, it was pouring rain outside, and there's a voicemail from my brother. Hey man, you should probably check your comment section on your latest video. Apparently there was like a really big glitch in the middle of it for like 2 minutes and everyone's talking about it or something. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to let you know. Bye. So that was the start of my day. And yeah, at first I was very annoyed. I'm just thinking, wow, I spent hours and hours putting this video together and this happens? And I just can't take down the video. It's a sponsored one. I have a contract. Also, I don't want to lose all those views. So I explore all the avenues I can, trying to see if I can get this fixed. But then those same friends from earlier watched the video, and they told me, dude, that segment in the middle was brilliant. It really got a scare out of me. And when I told them what happened, they said, no, it's perfect. Leave it. In fact, go even further. Play along with it. And since there was not much else I could do, I did just that. I played along. And as I'm reading the comments, I see that so many of my viewers are having so much fun with it. It really gave them a good scare, and they ended up liking the video so much more because of it. And that ended up reflecting in the video's performance just a couple days later. The video was growing at a rate that I've never seen before. And you're probably wondering, how? Well, as it turns out, this mistake and all the decisions that were made before and after it ended up unintentionally triggering the YouTube algorithm to have the video take off. And of course, that all has to do with how the algorithm works. Now, the end goal of the YouTube algorithm is to recommend videos that are good. I mean, of course, it's not going to push out a video that's badly made, but good and bad are subjective. What I might think is a good video, you might think is bad, and vice versa. There's no way to measure that. So how do you work around this? How do you turn qualitative data into quantitative data? Well, YouTube has a sort of checklist that it follows. Videos that meet all the criteria within that checklist are considered good, and are therefore pushed in the recommended tab across YouTube. If they don't meet the list, well, these videos are considered not good enough to be pushed out. This checklist includes, but is not limited to, high click-through rate, high average view duration, and lastly, high engagement. Firstly, click-through rate, also known as CTR, measures how much people are clicking on your video. This is entirely dependent on how good your thumbnail and title are. Is your video's title intriguing? Does it contain keywords that allow it to show up higher in search results relating to that topic? And most important, does the topic in question have high search but low competition? This means that this is a topic that a lot of people are looking for on YouTube, but there's just not a lot of videos covering it. I just had that gut feeling that a lot of people remembered the goggle virus back in the early 2000s, but people just didn't bother to make a video about it. So I figured I would. So when people search for it, my video comes up, and they click on it. But even outside of that, I made sure that I included a segment of the title that could appeal to essentially everybody. And on top of that, make a thumbnail that I felt was intriguing. This allowed me to get a high CTR for not only my viewers, but also for people who don't even watch my channel, but instead just have the video pop up in their recommended. Now that they've clicked on it, it's important that they stay to watch the video. This is where average view duration kicks in, also known as AVD. If your AVD is high, then great. That means people are staying to watch your video. Now if it's low, then people are leaving, and there is some kind of reason why. A video with a very high CTR but a very low AVD is typically classified as a clickbait video. Now, a lot of people online seem to think that any video with a thumbnail that's just goofy looking is clickbait, but that's just not the case. If anything, goofy thumbnails are actually extremely effective if it actually pertains to the video. Clickbait is when the thumbnail and title are intentionally misleading and completely unrelated to the actual content of the video. This was an extremely common problem back in the Paleolithic era of YouTube, because this was before AVD was measured. This is why you hardly see clickbait content on the featured page nowadays, but saw it all the time back in 2010, 2011. YouTube has now since caught on to that. But when that glitch popped up in my video, people didn't leave. They stayed, because they just had to know what happened. The AVD on my video was weird, so much more unusual looking than anything else I had made. A lot of those people then fled to the comments, asking about it. Did anyone else experience this too, or am I just going crazy? What happened to your video, dude? Was this intentional? High engagement means what you think it means. The sudden influx of YouTube comments about the glitch increased viewer engagement. Now, YouTube's algorithm is constantly changing and improving, but this was at least how it worked at the time I uploaded that video. So, my video had just accidentally checked all these boxes on a way higher scale than usual, and that is why the views exploded, and why I chose to not delete it. So what have we learned today, kids? Well, there is no such thing as a free trip to Hawaii, but on top of that, this entire ordeal really put my line of work and YouTube as a whole in an entirely new perspective for me. That I was really underestimating the beauty that is accidental art. Some of the greatest works of art weren't created because the artist was overthinking on what kind of double meaning it could provide. It was either created based on a gut feeling, or it was just unintentional altogether. This is why Bob Ross never called any of the mess-ups he would make in his paintings mistakes. He would call them happy accidents. This is coincidentally what my parents would also call me, but I think that's rooted in something much deeper. But anyway, I digress. Bob Ross used this term because, well, he gets it. A lot of the time, great art is a reflection of the artist's subconscious. It's not something that is intentional or even well thought out. This entire situation reminded me of the ending to The Sopranos, where in the last few minutes of the series, we experience intense buildup and anticipation, on the edge of our seats wondering if our main character, Tony Soprano, is going to make it out of that diner alive, as we hear Journey's Don't Stop Believin' blaring through the scene, until it just abruptly cuts to black, mid-thought. And then that's just the ending to the entire show. The ending to The Sopranos is regarded as one of the most controversial endings in television history, and the show's creator, David Chase, used Don't Stop Believin' as the song of choice simply because the show's crew hated the song. But he didn't realize just how important it is throughout this scene. It has been collectively agreed on that Tony does get killed at the end of the show, and the sudden cut to black represents that. It is an homage to an earlier scene in the series that talks about how getting whacked is so quick, you probably don't even notice it.
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
Because every time we watch Godfather, when Michael Corleone shoots those guys in the restaurant, those assholes who tried to kill his dad, you sit there with your fucking bowl ice cream and you say it's your favorite scene of all time.
In this scene, we hear Tony's son, AJ, mention something that his dad once told him, about how we should cherish every moment that we have together because we just don't know when that can be taken away.
Focus on the good times.
Don't be shocked, kid.
Isn't that what you said one time? Try and remember the times that were good?
I did?
Yeah.
Well, it's true, I guess.
And Chase later added on to this, saying that life is short. Either it ends here for Tony or some other time. But in spite of that, it's really worth it. So don't stop believing. But funnily enough, it is also likely that Tony doesn't die, and that the show just continues on without us. I think that the YouTube channel The Take really puts it best. It may be that the viewer is getting whacked, not Tony. Because we've been observing, rationalizing, and even romanticizing all of Tony's abhorrent behavior throughout the whole series, we are therefore complicit. We are just as bad as the Mafia is, and we therefore shouldn't even be given the satisfaction of seeing where Tony's fate lies. This is especially supported with a lyric from the song. The movie never ends. It goes on and on and on. We just aren't there to see it. This song added so much more powerful meaning to what might just be one of the greatest endings in television history, and it was all because David Chase thought it was funny. The glitch in my video also reminded me of the story of Ruth Wakefield, the owner of the Toll House Inn back in the 1930s. She was trying to make chocolate cookies, but didn't have all the necessary ingredients for it. So she decided to break up a chocolate bar into a bunch of little pieces and add it to the cookie dough, hoping that the chocolate would melt into the dough as it was cooking. But instead, the chocolate just melted in chunks, and chocolate chip cookies were born. Not all accidents are bad. Going back to Odyssey and Oracle, listeners noticed that this misspelling could also be a play on words for the term ode, a poem meant to be sung. Not to mention that the Odyssey is also a poem written by Homer. What started off as an embarrassing mistake ended up adding a whole other layer of meaning to the album. And there really is a bit of irony to the fact that because I was so fixated on making my video perfect, I ended up accidentally making it even more imperfect. And it's even more incredible that, out of all the videos this could have happened on, it happened on a video that specifically talks about how mass destruction can occur if you simply mention a word. That glitch added a whole other layer of depth to my video that I wouldn't have even considered had it not happened in the first place. Perhaps it was something in my subconscious that made me choose to not proof watch that video one last time. But either way, I am so glad that I did not make the rash decision of taking it down, because people got to experience it in a so much more interesting way. So, to finally answer your question, explain yourself. Why haven't you taken that video down and fixed it? Well, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a world without Odyssey and Oracle and chocolate chip cookies. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you never miss a future video.